If you are a realtor who's serious about closing an extra one or two listings every single month, then keep watching because I'm going to be pulling back the curtains on exactly what to help realtors like Paul go from 150K in GCI to 350K and Lori go from 225K in GCI to 500K plus. And before I dive into all the details and the strategies, just to give you an idea of who I am and why you should even listen to me in the first place, my name is Edwin Yang, and my team and I have collectively worked with 50 plus realtors and spent over $1.7 million in ads over the last 18 months for realtors alone. And for all that effort, we've dialed it down to a simple yet repeatable process that works every single time. Today, I'll break down everything you need to reach 500K in GCI in 2025 and beyond, and how you can use these tactics by implementing a new AI tool that 99% of realtors are currently not using to A, get more clients, B, close faster, and C, reach the income level you've been aiming for. We've worked with clients like Paul, who I just mentioned, who got his first listing from the program for a $1.4 million single family home. And through the open house, the neighbor actually came by and wanted him to list her home as well. So it's a great win for him. Here's another one from Paul. So he was going to a $2 million home listing appointment. And during the appointment, the sellers were a bit hesitant as to whether they wanted to sell their home right now or maybe wait, a few more months to, get that sorted out. So in the meantime, they wanted him to list their $7 million hotel. And in the end, they did loop back to him and he was able to get that $2 million home on the market as well. And eventually they were able to sell that. And here is a picture from Lori. So this was around Halloween time last year where she was able to get that $1.5 million transaction. So super, super well on her. And then this is another picture from Lori where she was dropping off some CMAs and some scones to thank the seller for the $1.1 million transaction as well. And here is a message that we got from Dakota, who was saying that she was about to get her first $1 million listing from this lead. And in the last 6 weeks, she's been flooded with seller leads, so much so that she's been trying to catch up with all of them, which is a great problem to have as a realtor. And now here we have Chase, who just got back from a $1.2 million home listing appointment. And at first he said it was a bit of a weird situation, but at the end he was able to sort it out and he was able to get that listing as well. So huge wins for both Dakota and Chase. Here are some of our realtor clients' ad accounts that we've managed. So here we have a solo realtor who invested about $3,700 into ads and got back about 122 leads. And here's another solo realtor. They invested about 6K into ads and they got back about 264 leads. And here's another realtor who was a solo realtor who invested about $7,000 into ads and got back around 250 to 270 leads from that alone. And then here's another realtor who invested about $600 into ads and got back about 200. And as you can see, some of these numbers do fluctuate quite a bit based on the number of leads that you get versus the amount that you've invested into ads. And that fluctuation is due to the different markets and the different geographies that might have an impact on the results you're really getting. And also the different strategies that we might be using for each and different realtor that we do work with. And here's another realtor that invested about $9,000 into ads. And I believe this was a smaller team and they got about 320 to 330 leads from that. And then here's another solo realtor who put in about $3,000 into ads and got back around 88 leads. And now on here, this is a medium-sized team. They invested about $24,000 into ads and got back probably upwards of 600 leads from that alone. And this one right here was actually a brokerage. So they invested about $57,000 into ads and they probably got upwards of 700 to 800 leads total. And then down here, another realtor, I believe this is also a smaller team as well. They put in about $18,000 into ads and they got back around, I believe, 400 to 500 leads. And of course, this is just a screenshot, so it doesn't show the whole picture of the other campaigns and strategies that we ran as well. And I can sit here for hours and hours talking about the testimonials and the results that we've gotten for our realtor clients. Now, let's just jump into the strategy that we're talking about today. So why are scalable and time-efficient lead gen and appointment setting strategies a must for realtors in 2024 and going into 2025? So here's a study done by McKinsey and Company. I'm sure you know them as a huge consulting company. So in the study, they found out Gen AI could generate 110 billion to 180 billion or more in value for the real estate industry. Here's another article by Riz Media. So they analyzed a Delta study, and in that study, executives rated the importance of AI in the current state at a 5 out of 10, but that was surged to 9 out of 10, which is by 40% when asked about the importance of AI in the near future. So that's going to be in the next 1 to 2 years. If you're not already using AI in your career to increase your production, save time on manual work, and target your ideal clientele, you should be worried because you're already a step behind. So AI is the future, as we all already know. And the agents who adapt and are using it in the next 1 to 2 years will be multiple steps ahead of agents who continue to stay stuck in their old ways. And now it's no longer about if you should use AI in your business, but how and when you will implement it. And the reality is, anyone can use ChatGPT to write a property description, a personal bio for their LinkedIn or their Instagram, or the copy on their website, so the actual words. But do these things actually directly impact your production and your bottom line? Well, it might save you time, but it won't make you more money. So we need to find ways to leverage AI to make us more money while also saving us time. So what do you think separates Ryan Serhant from the typical realtor, even though we all have the same 24 hours in a day? He has leverage. So you might have seen this image before of a fulcrum and lever. So this triangle right here is going to be your fulcrum, and this blue bar is your lever. So when you do have leverage, you can have a small amount of input and have this huge amount of output where this ball will go launching into the sky, right? So there are 4 steps of leverage. So there's time leverage, where you're focusing on efficient and revenue producing action. So that includes your speed, delegation, and prioritization of tasks. And number 2 is going to be money leverage. So that means investing strategically to accelerate growth and reduce manual effort. So that can include your hiring, your marketing, and installing tech into your business. Number 3 is people leverage. So that means empowering others to help expand capabilities and increase production. So that could be bringing on great talent, or building up your own team, or leveraging your SOI for easy deals that can close fast with people who are already familiar with you. And number 4 is systems leverage. So what that means is that you're creating scalable and repeatable processes to ensure consistency, scalability, and efficiency in your business. So that can be accomplished by installing workflows and AI to automate a lot of the manual tasks that you're already doing by hand. So now, how do you implement leverage in your business? Well, to do this, we're going to need as many scalable vehicles that combine as many of these leverages as possible, as long as they complement each other. And the reason I say that is because we don't want to have shiny object syndrome. This is something that you might have heard of before, where you look for different things, where, oh, this thing is better, or the grass is always greener on the other side. You can try this strategy or that strategy. And the number one mistake that I see realtors make is that they try to implement anything and everything they can to be more efficient. However, what that actually does is that it can get super messy and lower the overall system's efficiency, even with proper data tracking. So maybe you're trying to do some ads right here. Maybe you're trying to do some cold calling right here, or some door knocking, some mailers, some farming, whatever it is. And what actually ends up happening is that your attention is getting pulled in different directions, left and right, and you don't know what to prioritize on right now to get you closer to your goals that you had set for yourself since the beginning of the year or for a long time now, right? So even with proper data tracking, if you're tracking all the stats, all the numbers, all the metrics, you still don't have the ability to really differentiate on what is doing best or what is doing worse and what's focused on right now, because you just have so much going on, on your plate, that you can't really focus on, having a clear tunnel, a clear path down on exactly what you need to do today to get you closer to your goals. Now, let's take a look at scalable vehicles and lead gen and determine which ones are actually scalable versus the ones that are not scalable. So in this picture, you can see that there are kind of 4 squares, right? So on top right here in the horizontal axis, you can see that there are people who know you and people who don't know you. And then on the vertical axis, you can see that there's one-to-one, and then that is known as private. And then there's one-to-many, which is known as public. So for people who do know you already, and it's one-on-one private communication, that's going to be warm outreach. So that's going to be your SOI and your referrals. And for the people who don't know you, and it's one-on-one private communication, that's going to be cold outreach. So that's going to be your cold calling, your door knocking, stuff like that, right? And then next, for the people who do know you already, and it's one-to-many public, that's going to be posting free content. So the content can be based on market updates, home tours, things about like. And for people who don't know you, and it's one-to-many public, that's going to be running geofencing ads. So now let's take a look at how leveraged each of these ways actually are. First, let's take a look at warm outreach. So that's going to be your SOI and your referrals. So the reason why time leverage works so well here is because you're focusing on low-hanging fruit. So people who've worked with you before, so past clients, and also referrals from those clients are going to be really easy to close. And there's less stress and less pressure going into it. So it's going to be a much easier transaction versus if you're talking to someone new, right? And next, let's talk about money leverage. So it's very low cost in terms of getting to these clients because they're either sent to you as referrals or you already know them already. Next is people leverage. So you're really leveraging your SOI for this one. And now for systems, there's not much you can really automate in terms of reaching out to your SOI or reaching out to referrals. So there's not much workflows or AIs that you can actually install in your business to get that to be automated. Next is cold outreach. So that's going to be your cold calling and your door knocking. And the reason why time leverage is so low here is because you're spending so much time on the phone, but also spending more time off the phone doing training, for your tonality and also for your delivery and things like that to really up your chances of even getting a pickup or a positive response on the phone for a potential appointment, right? And in terms of money, it's quite leveraged in terms of being able to hire overseas VAs. And the same thing for people here, where you're leveraging overseas VAs to do the cold calling for you. Now, in terms of systems for cold outreach, there's not much you can really automate in terms of setting up a workflow or an AI to do the door knocking for you or to do the cold calls for you. Next, we have posting free content. So in terms of time leverage, it's very, very high because you're speaking to a mass audience by just making the content once, right? And then in terms of money leverage, it's very low cost. All you have to do is set up a camera and just speak to it, right? And just output some value to the world where your clients will find it actually valuable when you actually listen to it and watch your content. Next is people leverage. So when you have content, it builds and nurtures client familiarity with you so that when you do decide to work together, it becomes a very smooth sailing process where they already trust you, they already know what you do, how you do your work, so that when they do come to you, there's a lot of trust already built into the process. And now in terms of systems, there's not much you can really automate in terms of creating content, whether that be installing workflows or AI. Now, when it comes to running geofencing ads, the time leverage is going to be super, super high because you're maximizing reach to qualified clients without you having to do much outreach yourself, right? Like you'd be sleeping and your ads will still be running and reaching out to more people than you could ever do on a phone by yourself. And now, in terms of money leverage, you're really investing money into a system that's going to scale your marketing and make it into a scalable process that's going to continue to grow over time. And in terms of people leverage, you're really automating outreach as if you had an army of VAs. So the ads can probably do more outreach than 10, 20, or 30 VAs ever could. And in terms of systems, you can have AI find the most ideal audiences based on specific criteria. And the geofencing ad criteria could include location or geography, or it could be things like demographics. So what's the common link between warm outreach, posting free content, and running geofencing ads? Well, they all greatly increase your production without requiring excessive time and manual work, unlike cold outreach. And when it comes to scaling, deals from referrals and your sphere are great and generally close faster, but a majority of realtors can't slowly rely on them to make a living. So in that case, only free content and geofencing ads are truly scalable vehicles. And this is because they're reliable and they compound on themselves if done correctly. And a lot of that takes a lot of skill and learning in order to master how to make content and how to, run ads the right way, right? And what's interesting is that they both fall into the one-to-many category in the chart that I showed above. So you can put in the same amount of work to make that piece of content or that video or make the ad and run it, but you're able to reach exponentially more potential clients than if you would otherwise. And this is something that you can't do with warm outreach and cold outreach. So you can't reach out to the same 5 to 10 people in your sphere or make the same number of cold calls and expect more clients to work with you. And in this attention economy, attention is the new oil. You have to get attention one way or another in order for people to know that you exist and that you're able to actually help them buy or sell, right? So the ability to capture mass attention is a skill that when paired with AI to target your exact ideal client will lead to a large ROI, not only on your time, but also on the money invested. And this works especially well with geofencing ads since every single metric can be tracked by implementing systems that give us the exact data needed to make calculated marketing decisions. When you make decisions, they need to be based off of data. If it's not based off of data, you're just kind of walking through blind and hoping and praying that whatever you're about to do is going to get you some type of results, right? So I'm sure that you've run ads yourself or hired a lead company in the past or bought a list, right? But it hasn't worked before. And the reason why it hasn't worked for you is that when you or the lead company were running the ads, you were likely doing a very basic Facebook ad with a lead form and then just calling them up and hoping and praying that they would actually even pick up or not ghost you. And the reason why our clients have seen so much success and are consistently closing on 300K, 500K, or even $1 million plus transactions compared to all the other realtors out there is because they were leveraging geofencing ads. These ads target a specific neighborhood or zip code, and then we utilize local market trends along with laser-focused criteria for who we're targeting. And these criteria can be a combination of a specific age range or demographic, etc., to really pinpoint the exact type of client that we want to track. For example, you're a realtor who specializes in downsizing. So let's take a look at what type of clients typically are looking to downsize. So they're probably going to be, higher in age, so probably 55 or 60, because the kids have already moved out, they're living on their own now, and they're trying to downsize and look for a more cozy home where it's smaller for them, right? So after working with dozens of realtors and speaking with hundreds more, I actually don't recommend that everyone run ads. And in the line of work I do in a company that I run, a lot of people are actually going to think that I'm silly for saying that, but it's genuinely true. I don't recommend that everyone run ads. And if you can't book appointments or close deals at a consistent rate of at least 30 to 40%, I would hammer this in again. I would actually advise you from running ads. And the reason is because you're just not ready and you're just going to burn through money on qualified leads that do come through your funnel. And when I say that, I mean that you don't have the necessary sales skills to convert these prospects into clients yet. And the keyword here really is yet, because sales is a skill that can be built on with more reps and more repetitions as you get better and better at it over time. If this is where you're at, you should be focusing on developing your sales skills. So this could be practicing role plays with another agent in your office, making cold calls with a script, and really working on that delivery and tonality. Because at the end of the day, if you're in real estate, you're going to be in sales no matter what. However, if you're already at 150K in GCI and closing at least 8 to 12 transactions a year, adding ads to your lead gen will actually give you the boost you need to take your production to the next level. If you are already a client, don't worry. We have a 7-figure marketing team already working with you to make sure that the clients come to you instead of the other way around, where you're chasing them down for a deal. If you're ever looking to target another sub-niche or scale, just message your agent success manager and they'll coordinate with the marketing and AI teams to get it up and running for you ASAP. And so here is a table that I made for who should be using each vehicle. So there's warm outreach, cold outreach, posting free content, and running geofencing ads, like I said before. If you are a newer realtor, you should definitely be doing your warm outreach. So that means reaching out to your SOI and getting those referrals. And you should also be doing cold outreach. So doing a cold calling and door knocking if possible. And also posting free content. So market updates, things about market trends, and anything that's going on in your area, in your city, in your town. Now, like I said before, if you don't have any sales experience coming into real estate, so maybe you didn't have a sales position in the past and you're coming into real estate, then you should not be running ads, because like I said before, you're going to burn your money on ads and you're just going to see no results because you're not able to close those deals. And as you can see, warm outreach and posting free content is universal across all levels of experience. And for experienced realtors who are already doing well, you can decide if you want to continue to do cold outreach. So you're cold calling and you're door knocking. Because if that is your forte and you're already good at it, why not continue doing it, right? Because that's going to get you more deals either way. And now, in terms of ads, you should definitely be running them because you have the sales skills to convert those leads that come in into actual clients. Now, if you're a top realtor, you can continue doing this if you really want to. But at this point, your time is so much more valuable than a newer realtor, and you have the sales skills to convert. So you should really be focusing your time on really converting leads into actual clients. So you should really be focusing on closing deals rather than getting more leads in the pipeline. And the same logic applies for experienced realtors when it comes to running geofencing ads. So now let's take a look at this picture right here. So this is a very, very simplified diagram of what a sales pipeline might look like, right? So the reason I tell all my clients to start at overall reach and leads, so these two up here, and fix our system top down in the sales pipeline is because we want volume. So the more reach and leads that we can bring in, the healthier the overall system will be. So if you're already a experienced realtor, you can have a team doing that for you, right? We're gonna have other methods generating leads for you. So if you have a fuller pipeline already, you have more opportunities to convert the leads into appointments down here and eventually into clients. But on the other hand, if no one knows you and no one knows that you exist, there are no appointments and no clients to help or close. Next, let's take a look at scalable vehicles and appointment scheduling. So this is usually done over the phone and text regardless of how the lead comes in. And why are they used the most often? Well, because they're the most effective, but they're not very efficient. And this is because phone calls can take a lot of time to make, and most leads don't pick up or respond to your texts, which means that you're sitting on the phone for hours just to speak to 2 or 3 people. And if your lead gen process isn't set up properly, those 2 to 3 people are going to be tire kickers, window shoppers, and people looking to buy or sell in the next 2 years. I mean, of course, the people who are looking to buy or sell later on can be nurtured, but a lot of times these are going to be people who are going to mostly just waste your time, right? So ultimately, you're going to be spending a lot of time and not making a lot of money. So if you already have a consistent and reliable lead gen pipeline, then you should start focusing your time on implementing a scalable appointment scheduling vehicle. So there are 2 ways that you can do this over the phone and text. So you can DIY, meaning do it yourself and make the calls yourself and do the text backs yourself, or hire a VA or an ISA to do all that for you, right? The phone calls and the text backs and so on, right? So DIY is great because you know exactly what to say, because you're already experienced with sales, you know how to sell the appointment and the needs of your clients. But it takes up a lot of your time that you could have been spent closing deals and getting listings. On the other hand, VAs and ISAs are great because they save you a lot of time and set appointments for you. But it takes a lot of time to train them on your scripts, your objection handling and processes. And many times, if you hire them from overseas, English won't be their first language. If you've hired a VA before, you know how fast they can churn. So that can be them moving on to another opportunity or you letting them go, right? So whether it's because they're a bad fit, don't produce results, or lack commitment, it's often a much bigger headache to recruit, interview, and manage and fire them than setting the appointment yourself. And just like how we need leverage in lead gen, we also need leverage in scheduling appointments. So how do you efficiently and effectively scale your production without using your own time or hiring unreliable VAs and ISAs? Well, you'll need an ISA that can call up leads in 5 minutes and book them directly into your calendar so that they're 21 times more likely to convert. They will also effortlessly disqualify time-wasting leads so that you only spend time with clients ready to make a move. They will also skillfully handle objections, turning hesitations into a yes. A perfect ISA will also follow up relentlessly, nurturing leads along the way, and they understand every detail of your offer and business to confidently win over clients. Next, they also have to be able to sync seamlessly with your CRM to instantly access every lead and client. And lastly, speak Spanish fluently for those realtors with Spanish-speaking clientele. Because regular VAs and ISAs are so difficult to train and retain, and experienced ones are few and far between, the best way to get time, money, people, and systems leverage is to have an AI ISA that can do all the above. And with this AI ISA, they leave you more time to focus on closing deals and working with qualified clients, and they focus directly on scheduling appointments and increase your production. And they're also a talented member of a team that you don't need to train or manage, and it's a new piece of technology that can outwork every single realtor in your city. So going into 2025, if you want to get an edge over your competition, your team should have an AI ISA. Whether you're a solo agent right now, or you already have a team, or you own a brokerage, you need an AI ISA on your team. And that's why all of our realtor partners have one in their business. However, they knew that even if they had a reliable lead gen system and AI ISA, they weren't going to get rich quick. They knew that they still had to put in the work, learn how to close, and provide exceptional service to their clients. And if you want to build your own AI ISA, here are some of the better AIs on the market, such as the Blanda AI, Vappy, and Poly AI. If you'd like us to install these systems and scalable vehicles into your business, and things that I didn't go over in the video, like automated follow-ups, a referral system, and a database reactivation system, click the link in the description or the link in bio and book a call with me or another advisor on the team to see if we're able to help you achieve your GCI goals and get you more of your time back.